Officials in the villages prepare to install their own poles to challenge Seco. Village ordered into anger management in golf cart road rage. A property swap is aimed at easing a flooding problem in Wildwood. A 30-bed micro-hospital on track for construction near the villages. Confusion reigns as new villagers try to make sense of a rate hike. Work taking place in sinkhole-plagued area in the villages. A Water Oak gate attendant calls 911 during a scary encounter with an intruder. Wildwood officials vote to hike water rates by 5.3%. Another sex offender moves into a home in the villages. 140,000 water meters to be changed out in $30 million modernization effort by Jacobs. How many holes of ones of golf do we get this week? Letters to the editor. This and more coming up. Let's have some more news. Officials in the villages are preparing to install their own poles in a challenge to Seco Energy over exorbitant increases in pole rental rates. Seco Energy infuriated community development district supervisors across the villages earlier this year by announcing increases of up to 600% in pole rental rates. Officials accused Seco of dodging the potential wrath of homeowners by saddling the CDDs with the huge increases. Residents would still end up paying the rate hikes through CDD maintenance assessments, but Seco would have avoided looking like the bad guy. CDD 7 recently held a workshop about a possibility of installing its own poles. In the audience were CDD 2 supervisors Tom Swires and Jim Conte. They offered their opinions at Friday's CDD 2 board meeting at Savannah Center. CDD 2 has 82 fiberglass poles. Swires, who spent his career as an accountant, said that because CDD 2 has far fewer poles than other CDDs, the replacement costs are not out of reach. Swires made a motion, seconded by Supervisor Dennis Richards, to charge district staff with the responsibility of getting the ball rolling with regard to the replacement of the poles and installation of modern LED lights. CDD2 supervisors are hopeful that owning their own poles will put residents in the driver's seat when it comes to Seco. However, there are concerns about taking such bold action. Seco controls everything. Seco calls the shots. CDD Chairman Bart Zollner is apprehensive about the expense. I want to make sure we know the total cost, Zollner said. CDD2 includes the villages of Alhambra, Harmswood of Bel Air, Santiago, Santo Domingo, and portions of Palo Alto. Hey, this is something that I can get behind. Big business is screwing everybody over in this whole country. Down here, everybody seems to think that the villages is where the money's at. Maybe it is, but they're gouging us. Everybody, from the landscapers all the way up to electric companies to water waste districts, they're gouging us. By the way, I guess I should mention, these are updates from past news reports. I like to get you updated to let you know how things are coming along. Here's another update. A villager has been ordered into anger management after an attack on a 91-year-old fellow resident in a golf cart road rage incident. William Gordon Rodseth, 74, of the village of Dunedin, has been ordered to complete 16 hours of anger management as part of a pretrial intervention contract entered into this past week in Sumter County Court. He must also complete 80 hours of community service. If he fulfills the terms of the contract, a felony charge of battery will be dismissed. Well, that's his update. Here's another update from way back. A villager who lost his driver's license due to a drunk driving arrest has been jailed after he was caught back behind the wheel. Roger Godinier, 56, of the village of Santo Domingo, was driving a Dodge pickup early Friday morning on Sunset Arbor Road when his deputy ran his license plate and found that the vehicle's registered owner has a suspended license, according to the arrest report from Marion County Sheriff's Office.
The New York
native lost his license after an arrest in April for driving under the influence. During Friday's traffic stop, Gordner claimed he did not realize his license was suspended. He was arrested on a charge of driving while license suspended. He was booked at the Marion County Jail on a $10,000 bond. And here's an update on the flooding problem we reported over there next to Home Depot in Wildwood. Continuing efforts to improve stormwater drainage, Wildwood commissioners Monday night approved a property swap and the purchase of 3 lots that could be used for a retention pond. Both transactions involve property owned by Louis Rivera, who recently acquired an Osceola Street lot through a code enforcement lien. That lot is next to a city retention pond that could be expanded and will be swapped for a Lee Street lot the city also obtained through a code enforcement lien. Riviera, who plans to build 2 duplexes on the Lee Street lot, will receive impact fee credits, but no money will be exchanged. Commissioners also approved the purchase of 3 other Lee Street lots near Missouri Avenue from Riviera for $115,000. Mayor Ed Wolf said he also wants the city to acquire another lot along State Road 44 near the Freedom Plaza Shopping Center to ease flooding in that area. These efforts come after Mary Wimberly, who lives a block south of the Home Depot store at Powell Road on Cleveland Avenue, or County Road 466A, told commissioners last month that she was trapped in her home for 2 days due to flooding from Tropical Storm Debbie. The problem was blamed on a retention pond south of Home Depot that doesn't drain properly. City Manager Jason Hugh told commissioners that the retention pond has been nearly drained and the store and soil boring will be done to find a solution. 2 weeks ago, commissioners voted to buy a 60-horsepower dewatering pump to help with drainage. The pump was in the next year's budget. Well, that's the update for the water problem over there. Here's an update on a micro hospital that I believe Orlando Hospital is wanting to build here. Wildwood Micro Hospital, developed by Orlando Health, came a step closer to reality Monday night when commissioners approved rezoning and a comprehensive plan of amendment for the property. They voted to change the zoning from industrial to commercial for a 44-acre site along the west side of State Road 301, near the western end of Marsh Bend Trail and the village of DeLuna. The project also requires approval of a special exception permit to allow a hospital on land with commercial C3 zoning. The 30-bed micro hospital will be built in 2 phases. The first phase of 33,000 square foot will include 8 beds, treatment rooms, and labs. The second 37,000 square foot phase will add 22 beds. Wastewater service is not available, although the city plans an extension in the future. City water is available from a line that runs along US 301. Wastewater capacity and development agreements are required. A relatively new trend in the healthcare industry, micro-hospitals are small-scale inpatient facilities offering a variety of medical services where patients can be admitted for short stays. Netox Health of Houston, Texas plans to build a micro-hospital in Claremont. And that's their update.
Hello, Porch Sitting crew. This is Craig Morrison. As you can see, I've joined Skip and Sue a few times in Porch Sitting, and then even before that, the Wednesday Night Live crew. I wanted to bring to you today just some information, especially of those of you who are celebrating a birthday within the next year. Happy birthday, first of all. As you can see, there's a few things that you may relate to here. One is a birthday card, one is an overstuffed mailbox, and one is a headache. And I want to just tell you that one of those can be alleviated in working with me. These are the things that usually happen when the response people have. They're scared to death, they raise a white flag and surrender, or they ask for help. And that's what I'm here for. If you were born in 1959, basically you are or should be getting ready for Medicare. 3 months prior to your birth month itself, and 3 months afterwards is actually your initial enrollment period. I always recommend that people go ahead and take care of things 3 months prior to your birth month. And the first step in that journey is actually applying for Medicare Part B. These are the things that we look at and the transformation that occurs. So you see the guy on the left, kind of grumpy, looking around, got Medicare on the wall, knows he needs to do it, but doesn't know where to start. And then you got the guy after they've met with me that's very happy and satisfied with what's going on. It's not just males that get confused, also females. So again, if you are like a deer in the headlights and are just getting a headache from going through all that material you get, and you want to be this happy lady on the right, just give me a call. And then, of course, couples, sometimes simultaneously or within months of one another, they have the same 65th birthday. We can do the same for couples in regards to that. That is what I have to share with you today. I just wanted to let you know that there is a resource out there. That's me. And I am more than willing to answer any and every question you have so that you understand this process. Just remember, my consultations are always free. I look forward to hearing from you.
A confused crowd of villagers filled the Everglades Recreation Center on Thursday afternoon with questions about maintenance assessment increases, as well as concerns about pond problems, warranty issues, water temperature, and taxing entities. Residents of Community Development District 14, which includes Dabney, Newell, Lake Denham, showed up in protest of the proposed 20% increase of their maintenance assessments. And while the meeting was supposed to be limited to the maintenance assessment and the budget, the meeting became a forum for complaints about warranty issues, the cost of the Eastport Maintenance Advisory Committee, pond problems, water temperature, and a host of other issues. Residents also expressed surprise to learn they are considered residents of the city of Leesburg. "We are not residents of Leesburg," one woman protested. "Wait till you get your tax bill, you'll see. We live in the villages." CDD 14 residents had hoped to derail the planned 20% increase, which had been reduced from 56% thanks to the one-time donation of $2 million contributed by the developer. And it will go back up. As soon as that $2 million runs out, get ready. While unhappy about the 20% increase, residents are wary of what next year's increase will be if there is no contribution from the developer. "I don't understand the formula for what the developer is kicking in," said Steve Judge. "Will we be picking up the tab next year?" "You know you are." Melinda Cooper of the village of Lake Denham described the shock of the letter received by residents about the 56% increase. She wanted to know if it was the residents' outrage that promoted the developer to write a $2 million check. "Are we going to have to come every year to get the developer to contribute?" she asked. In the end, the CDD 14 board supervisors unanimously approved the 20% maintenance assessment rate hike. How far did that protest go? Major work has been taking place this week in the area of the villages plagued by sinkholes. A crew was using heavy equipment to dig up an area near the Cameron Villas in the village of Calumet Grove. Last month, a home in Cameron Villas was declared uninhabitable. That's crucial. I'll explain here in a little bit. By Marion County building officials after sinkholes opened up behind the home near a pond which is owned by the developer. The area has been known for sinkholes, most notably sinkholes of 2018 on McLaren Terrace in the village of Calumet Grove that forced 2 homeowners out of their homes and left the residents of Community Development District 4 with costly repairs. In a meeting in August, CDD4 Board Chairman Cliff Weiner said there have been at least 10 sinkholes in that area in more than 2 decades he has lived in the villages. It is a developer-owned pond, but homeowners are dealing with the problems. Yes, you are. Let me explain the difference of why it's critical for your home to be termed uninhabitable. In your homeowner's insurance in the state of Florida, it's a state law. It's required that all homeowners' policies must include catastrophic ground collapse insurance on your home. That's a given. You get that. That's not sinkhole insurance. Sinkhole insurance is an add-on that you really need to get. In my opinion, you need to get it. I've got it. In order for your sinkhole insurance to kick in, your house has to be deemed uninhabitable. That's done by whoever's in charge, chief or fire chief, district managers, whoever's in charge that has the right to do that. They'll deem your home uninhabitable. Then your sinkhole insurance kicks in. If you just have a little ground collapse, which could be a leaky pipe, washing the sand away, and the ground collapses, let's say it cracks your driveway, that comes under your catastrophic ground collapse insurance. And that's the difference. Now, depending on what sinkhole insurance you get is how much it will pay. You get as much as you can afford because some of these sinkholes that I've read about in the state of Florida can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars to fill in. And I don't know what different insurance has as far as co-pays go. Just get what you can afford. I think the one I've got, I have a maximum copay of a sinkhole is something like 10 grand. I can afford that. I don't want to pay it, but I can afford it. So get what you can afford and make sure you know what you got. A villager in a motorized wheelchair has won permission for a special paver walkway at his home in the Villages. Diane Martino appeared on behalf of her husband, Samuel Martino, on Friday before a Community Development District 4 Board of Supervisors at Savannah Center. She told supervisors that her husband is paralyzed from the waist down and relies on a motorized wheelchair. They were seeking permission for a 4-foot paver walkway which will serve as an exit point for him, particularly in the case of an emergency at their home at 3230 Southeast 171st Street, Cooper Loop in the village of Woodbury. A couple sought permission for the modification through the Federal Housing Administration. The U.S. Navy veterans doctor filled out a form indicating the need for the modification to the home. If the couple sells the home, the paver walkway will have to be removed. If Samuel Martino passes away, his wife will be given 6 months to remove the paver walkway. The board voted 5-0 to grant the request. Well, good for him. Makes life easier for people that have disabilities. So quit parking your golf cart in the striped area so people with wheelchairs that has to get out of a van can get out or get in because you're in the way. And illegally parked, I might add. There we go. Middleton, brand new neighborhood. Welcome. A Middleton man is facing a drunk driving charge after leaving a bar under the suspicion of an unpaid tab. Officers were called at about 2 a.m. Saturday to Marmaduke's Lodge on Main Street in Leesburg to investigate a complaint of a couple leaving without paying their tab. According to a arrest report from Leesburg Police Department, an officer spotted a couple fitting the description getting into a green Subaru SUV. The officer pulled into the parking lot as the driver was preparing to leave. The driver, identified as 61-year-old David Ray Beck, appeared to have been drinking and said he was getting ready to take his wife home. He was asked to take part in field sobriety exercises, but his poor performance led the officer to conclude that Beck was impaired. He provided breath samples that registered .180 and .184 blood alcohol content. A receipt from a nearby Brick and Barrel restaurant was found in his pocket. He claimed that while at the bar, he was provided with free beer. No, I don't think so. He was arrested on a charge of driving under the influence. He was booked at the Lake County Jail and released after posting a $1,000 bond. A Lady Lake man was arrested after he was found lurking late at night at a church in the Villages. An officer was on patrol shortly after 9 p.m. Monday at the St. Timothy's Catholic Church on Page Place, which he spotted a man on the church's property, according to the arrest report of Lady Lake Police Department. The man initially identified himself as Nathan Church, but that identity didn't check out. He admitted his name was Justin Roy Allen Britt, and the 25-year-old said he gave a false name because he feared there might be a warrant for his arrest. Britt was arrested on a charge of providing false information to a law enforcement officer. He was booked at the Lake County Jail and released on his own recognizance. In 2020, Britt was jailed after he actively resisted the efforts of a deputy attempting to take him into custody. A Water Oak gate attendant called 911 during a scary encounter with an intruder at the 55-plus retirement community at Lady Lake. A man began yelling and knocking on the glass door of the gatehouse at about 1:30 a.m. Sunday, according to the arrest report from the Lady Lake Police Department. He apparently wanted the gate attendant to open the locked door. The gate attendant called 911. Officers found and took into custody 52-year-old Joseph Scott Armagost of Leesburg. The report noted that Armagost has had several recent arrests, including an arrest in July at the Circle K in Leesburg. He was taken into custody and booked at the Lake County Jail, apparently with no bond. He's a druggie. Look at him. Wildwood commissioners Monday night gave tentative approval to both a $274.2 million budget for 2024 and 2025 and a property tax rate of $2.83 per 1,000 assessed value. Notice the key word there is assessed value, not true value. They also voted to boost water and wastewater rate. Final approval of the budget and tax rate are expected at the commissioners' meeting. The budget goes into effect October 1. Viewed as a tax increase, the property tax rate is the same as this year, but 6.75% above the rollback rate of $2.65 per 1,000 assessed valuation. The rollback rate is the amount needed to collect the same revenue as the prior year except for new construction. The city expects to collect $18.5 million in property taxes next year, up from $16.4 million. Spending will rise 23.8% over this year's budget, largely due to the construction of a $146 million wastewater treatment plant. The budget calls for spending $63.8 million next year on construction and engineering for the new plant. Much of the total cost will be covered by a $90 million in revenue bonds. Commission voted to hike water rates by 5.3% based on the Consumer Price Index, and wastewater rates by 20% to help pay for the new treatment plant. Wildwood growth required expansion of wastewater treatment capacity. When the work is completed, the two plants will be able to process 5.5 million gallons daily. The city's population has doubled since 2020 to more than 30,000 due to home construction in the villages of Southern Oaks, apartment projects, and new business. Besides the treatment plant, Wildwood has budgeted another $23.6 million in capital projects, including $13 million to improve Millennium Park, as well as drainage improvements and downtown master plan implementation. More than a dozen employees will be added, including 6 police officers to cover a new zone in the southern area. I assume that also means new police cars, new police equipment, maybe another dog or two. All that adds up to millions of dollars, believe that or not. It's amazing as how much some of this stuff costs. A woman convicted of a sex offense in Massachusetts has moved into a home in the Villages. Karen Ann Hassey, 49, registered an address this past week at 2142 Yearly Way in the village of Pinellas, according to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Hassey is convicted of rape in 2016 in Massachusetts. And now she's here. A home in the village of Marsh Bend has just sold for over $1.2 million, nearly double the price it fetched in July of 2020. Located at 5129 Lauder Loop, the 3-bedroom, 2.5-bathroom home was sold for $1,235,000 in late August, according to Sumpter County property records. Built in 2020, the 2,055 square foot home sold new in July of that year for $622,400. Almost exactly a year after it was sold new, the home was sold again to its previous owners for $830,000. The previous owner sold a home for a $405,000 profit in August of this year, just over 3 years after they purchased the property. An online real estate listing shows the designer home is filled with a collection of upgrades, including a chef-style kitchen with custom cabinets and a state-of-the-art appliances, a 3-car garage, a water filtration system throughout the house, and a backyard with a heated saltwater pool. The home is located off of Marsh Bend Trail, west of Florida's Turnpike, and north of the Hogeye Sink, which is a 70-acre lake. Well, congratulations on that great profit. 2 people were transported Friday afternoon from the scene of a minor vehicle accident at the entrance of the village of Atram Dales. The 2 individuals suffered non-life-threatening injuries in the crash, which occurred at about 2:45 p.m., according to the spokesman for the village's public safety department. The accident happened off the Buena Vista Boulevard roundabout in the Brownwood area of the Villages. Be careful out there. Them roundabouts are a killer. More than 140,000 meters will be changed over the next 4 years as part of a $30 million modernization effort in the villages. There are a significant amount of efficiencies to be gained in addition to improved accuracy. Homeowners will receive advance notifications prior to the change-out of the meters, one for water and the other for irrigation. Residents don't have to be home, and the seasonal residents won't be inconvenienced. There will be a disruption in power. Earlier this year, the North Sumter County Utility Dependent District voted to proceed with the automated meter reading technology in a dramatic technology leap forward in the reading of the water meters in the bulk of the villages. NSCUDD will be working with longtime partner Jacobs in the implementation of the technology. For years, meter readers have driven around in a familiar blue Jacobs golf cart, using one-touch technology to manually read the meters at each and every home. The new drive-by technology will use a panel on a vehicle that would travel through the neighborhoods and automatically read the meters. It's significantly more advanced than what we are using today. It's 85% faster, said Assistant District Manager Bruce Brown. South of State Road 44, the developer has already invested in automatic meter reading technology that is compatible with the system chosen by NSC UDD. I just wonder about the accuracy of the meter readings. They've had so many problems with being overcharged for water that gets blamed on leaky toilets. Not to say that can't happen, but it can't be everybody. An 80-year-old villager has been arrested in a violent dispute over parking at a Chinese restaurant in
Florida's friendliest hometown.
A man was picking up takeout food on August the 10th at Shang's Chinese restaurant at Buffalo Ridge Plaza and parked directly in front of the business with his hazard lights on, according to the arrest report of Sumter County Sheriff's Office. He was standing at the register paying for his food when an older white male entered the business and started yelling at him because he parked his vehicle in front of the restaurant. The man stood by the front door screaming at the man who was picking up his takeout order. The enraged man tried to start a physical fight and pushed the other man twice. He stumbled backwards and knocked over a chair. He grabbed the chair to defend himself. The other man yelled at him a few more times and then left the restaurant. The man who was attacked over his parking was able to obtain the license plate number of his assailant's white Honda Pilot SUV. There were also two witnesses who provided statements to deputies who responded to the altercation. The man who was attacked also told deputies he had just received his last radiation treatment on his neck and shoulders and explained that was the reason he had parked directly in front of the Chinese restaurant. The license plate was traced to Don Reese Lofton Jr. of the village of Tall Trees. The man who was attacked picked out Laughlin in a 6-person photo lineup. The North Carolina native is facing a charge of battery. He pleaded not guilty to a charge on August 29th in Sumter County Court through his attorney, Jamie Washoe Spivey. He remains free on bond, but as a condition of his bond, he may not return to Shang's Chinese restaurant. I'm not sure if that's a punishment or not. Okay, how many holes and ones of golf did we get this week? Looks like 3. A villager was thrilled after getting a hole-in-one at Belle Glade Championship Golf Course. Joe Canavo scored the lucky ace on September 1 at hole number 6 at Belle Glade's Calusa course. Congratulations on your hole-in-one, Joe. Robert Bob Marks got a hole-in-one September 5 at hole number 7 at the Sand Hill Executive Golf Course. The Village of Polo Ridge resident was golfing with his neighbor, Jim Whitlock. Congratulations on your hole-in-one there, Bob. Albert Aldazabal of the Village of Pennycap recorded his first hole-in-one on August 28th at hole number 8 at the Escambia Executive Golf Course. He scored the lucky ace at 88 yards. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one there, Albert. How about a couple letters to the editor? To the editor. I bought my home in Villages for $160,000. It is now worth $475,000. That is a $26,000 in appreciation every year. Recently got my new homeowner's bill, and it went to $8,000 including auto. Someone said I should sell the house to a relative and lease it back. If I did that over 10 years, I would save $40,000 in homeowner's insurance costs, but I would lose $220,000 in appreciation. That's sent in by Charles Swofford from the Village of Bel Air. Who cares? I mean, seriously, I don't know how old you are, but you'll be dead in 10 years anyway, so it ain't going to make no difference. It's all going to go to the kids. To the editor. The Villages is a great place due to Jennifer Parr's father and grandfather. All the kids, Mark, Tracy, and Jennifer, all worked to make it what it is. They worked from the time they were young and should be able to spend their money any way they want. They earned it. That's sent in by Janice Johnson from Central Lake. Well, first of all, Janice, I don't know anybody that said she couldn't spend her money that way. I don't even know what this is even all about. Sounds like you're just trying to stir the pot or something. I don't think anybody cares how they spend their money. We just care how they spend our money. Okay, I think that's going to be it for the news for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, I dedicate my news to all my Patreon members. I thank them so much. I couldn't do this without them. They're just a great group of people. And if you'd be interested, join my Patreon page. I'll be more than glad to send you a link to our free members-only Discord page where you can talk to a lot of other people about the villages and get somebody else's perspective about how things are around here. Some good, some bad, some ugly. I try to point all that out so you get a good, rounded experience of what it is here before you buy that $500,000 house. Like them people down there in Dabney and them saying, we didn't know we were going to be residents of Leesburg. I'm sorry, you got to watch all of the news, the good, the bad, the ugly, or you're not going to know. And then when them rate hikes come through, you're going to be shocked. It's going to be something you didn't budget for. So become a Patreon member. We have fun. We have lunch with everybody once in a while when we have our what we call members lunch. And our YouTube members are also invited to that. So you can be a YouTube member. We don't care. So anyway, with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. And I'm going to invite you guys to enjoy the rest of the summer, what's left of it. Fall's around the corner. I can't wait. The temperature sure may drop a little bit. I like traveling in the RV actually in the fall. So maybe we'll get that fired up too. By the way, if you're not a subscriber of the channel, subscribe. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Then every time we put up a video of some kind, then you will be notified about that video. Hopefully, turn the notifications on your phone. And turn the notification, that's the bell, hit the bell on your YouTube. So get those things out of the way, and then we'll see what happens after that. If you're into traveling a little bit with the RV, maintenance of an RV, and the things that go with that, I have an RV channel. The link's in the description box below, and it'll take you there. Hit the subscribe button there. And it shows all kinds of aspects. The traveling, the driving at night, driving in the daytime, boondocking, maintenance to the RV, all the good, all the bad about RVing before you go out and buy that RV. So with that being said, I'm just simply going to say, have a great day, have a great life. Be well, be safe, be aware, stay alive.
And don't leave that key in the golf cart.
This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members.